Well, it's actually streaming live
Today is?
right now
Okay, great.
on Facebook and that kind of thing. The broadcast will be actually done later, and when we get them all figured out and how they're going to be done. That this part of it that I'm recording is recorded. That part that's live is actually live right this very second.
Right.
And so,
Hey, audience.
yeah. So I'll get you in the screen better. So anyway, I'm here with Steele at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention 2025 on the convention floor. It's early in the morning. It's an exciting time because God's doing some amazing things. And so Steele, AI is just the buzzword, and Glue is how we put it together, I guess.
Yeah, amen. That's good. I like that.
So tell us about Glue.
Well, Glue is a technology platform that connects the faith ecosystem. And when we say the faith ecosystem, we mean the churches, of course. A lot of people think when they hear the word faith, especially from a Christian perspective, they're thinking the local church. And we love serving the local church. We love serving pastors. It's something that Glue's been doing for nearly all of its 15-year history. Really. We have a platform that serves over 80,000 church leaders that have registered on there. We make a lot of tools available free to churches, like communications tools, texting tools. We have something called hubs on there that a lot of ministries that are here today, the Chosen, for example, has a hub inside of Glue. And what pastors can do is they can go into a Glue hub and they can find resources that are packaged, specifically designed for them to be able to demonstrate those with their people or distribute those to their people, right? So if you think about a new Chosen episode, the pastor's going, there's some really good stuff in there. Instead of going to the Chosen has already packaged those for pastors and help pastors have slides that they can use or communication templates that they can use that help them talk about the messages. So that's one of the things that we do.
Wow, well, I am a pastor amongst many things. God gives me an opportunity. I'm sitting here going, what am I ignorant?
No, listen,
God's
work is great. God's work is great, and it is so much bigger than any of us could possibly, have visibility to.
And that's why it's critical, obviously, that we have you on here, Steve, because there's a lot of pastors like me that just have no idea. And yes, we need slides. And yes, Chosen has, so I'm guessing there's little video clips that are of certain parts of episodes that are right there.
In fact, one of the really cool things that happened was last year before the Chosen, in between theatrical release and streaming release for the Chosen, there was a period of time where the Chosen was only available to churches, and they actually used one of our organizations that are part of Glue is called Outreach Media. You get signs or banners, or use new mover programs, things like that. But that's all done through outreach.com. And they have outreach folks. And so we were able to make the Chosen episodes available to churches so churches can start streaming the Chosen inside their congregations on maybe a Sunday night or a Wednesday night. So that was a really good system to work.
Wow, and learning all this. So I imagine for the average person out there in rural North Carolina, the word AI brings up all sorts of horrible, like, you guys are messing with God here. But what I'm hearing is really just practical stuff, right? Like, if you're a pastor, you would be able to text everybody all at the same time. And so tell me about that, those simple hubs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, those hubs are really practical, and with AI, yes, we do pursue practicality. We can share some of those practical examples. It's also really important that we work to drive more education around artificial intelligence. What is AI? So even in our hubs, for example, one of the things that AI has the opportunity to do is you think about the dawn of Google. Google made it easy to find content, right? Now, there weren't a whole lot of faith principles built into the dawn of the internet age that we're in, and that's led us to some problems that are pretty widespread. And we want to solve those on the dawn of the AI era that we're into, so we can talk about that. But the hubs are, we have dozens of users. Pastors may not know exactly what they're looking at. They don't know that you want to show a Chosen. Just may have a problem that you're trying to solve, or a question that you're trying to explain. So we can actually use AI to take any question and correlate it to a certain piece of content inside of a single document. And so one of the most practical things AI does is it just helps us find content. way they're looking at it. It uses things like semantic search, which means if you're doing analysis, not simply a keyword, right? That's one practical tip.
Yeah, which just brings back almost like the problem with Babylon is everything got confused. And so when we hear the word artificial intelligence, we're not realizing we've already lived in that world most of our lives.
No doubt.
That, clearly when you do a search or clearly when you're doing things, it's no longer a human looking this up for you. You're not going to find somebody in the library that's grabbing a book and finding, So what you're doing for me, actually, you're doing it for rural North Carolina to some extent, because I'm a pastor in rural North Carolina. I have a total misunderstanding of artificial intelligence. So really, what you're talking about is simply taking technology and, like you say, when you say the ecosystem, of course, for a lot of us, we all went out in the field like that.
Understood.
And so to bring that back in, I get it.
Practical, it would be some of the words that we use are not the words of others, and I understand that. I'm just a guy from Memphis, Tennessee myself. I grew up, out in the rural areas. A lot of my family is North Mississippi, and I grew up on roads that were probably not meant to be roads, right? And so I get it. We need to make it more practical. And so one of the first things that we focus on is education. And so inside of Glue, you go to glue.com and you create an account. You find a hub on there called AI in the Church. And there's a lot of educational materials. And what we did is when AI sort of blew up, AI has been around a long time, but in late 2022, everyone really started talking about it inside of the church world and outside of the church. And inside the church world, we said, hey, we have to do this different than the dawn of the previous internet age. We have to put the right ethical frameworks around it. We need to make sure that AI is based on God's source of truth, right? And that's something that we've been working on is, if you just solely rely on artificial intelligence from maybe Silicon Valley organizations, there's room to be concerned, especially if you are a Christian right now, because people ask those types of truths, those questions. You do not get Christian answers. Those are problems that we need to solve before the faith ecosystem gets started to adopt these technologies. But much like the internet age, we had the same conversations when www things started to show up in .com. We had similar conversations. Should we be putting our content online? Should we be preaching the gospel, and start streaming our services? Should we be doing these things? And today in 2025, imagine if we had not. Imagine if the Christian world had chosen to set out of the internet age, and we were not doing these types of things. We were not streaming on Facebook, right? All of our church services and our Christian radio networks. We were not doing these things. Imagine the missed opportunity we had to spread the message of the gospel. We're sitting at the dawn of a new era like that in artificial intelligence. And so it's very important that we put ethical frameworks there.
That's beautiful. It really is, Steve. So how about the new era? What? I mean, you have a vision that I don't have, and so I'm really curious. Like, this really is leading to, like yesterday. I don't know if you were at the same breakfast, but you heard Chuck Swindoll talk about, how certain people would never have heard the gospel, right? It would have been for that broadcast, which at the time was innovative and all that stuff. So as you look out into the future of artificial intelligence, how do you see that being leveraged for the gospel?
All right, so I believe that we are sitting at the very beginning of what could be, until Jesus comes back, what could be a pretty dramatic future in our country. I believe that AI will transform the world that we are in. I believe it will impact everyone's lives, and I believe that that's coming over the next decades. I don't believe that's coming over the next singular years. We will continue to see AI show up in more and more things that we're doing. We'll likely start to see the very positive impacts of artificial intelligence that outweigh the negative impacts of artificial intelligence. We have an opportunity right now to predict the future of AI. So one of the things that's important is AI has it's a very complex technology where it is based upon something called large language models. You may have heard LLM. It's very technical. Think of those like the brain of AI. So if you were to go chat with an artificial intelligence system, you're really talking to the LLM, right? And much like a human, those brains can be trained, right? So if I have a 9-year-old son, I am actively, essentially training my 9-year-old son to one, read scripture, to have biblical principles in his heart. I'm also training him to become a man, right? And I'm training him on these principles that I really want him to have as he ages. We are in an era where we have an opportunity to train AI. And the question is, are we going to let the secular world out-train it, or is the biblical world going to show up and say, no, we have a moral responsibility to show up with God's word, train AI, because there might be a future where humanoid robots are more common than they're not. And that is probably a distant future, right? But Elon Musk and Tesla, they're working to solve that problem. Humanoid robots, this idea of robots actually being used in various contexts. I think you're going to start to see that more and more over the next 12 to 24 months. When that happens, do you want these types of robots being able to interact with other humans that are not based on biblical principles? Or what would it look like when you walk into one of these bots and ask a question of biblical principles?
So it's like a 21st century, 22nd century, whatever it is. Train up an AI in the way it should go.
And when it's old, it'll come out the park. I haven't spent too much time thinking about the biblical discernment of that. There's probably a lot of problems that some of the theologians would have with that, but I think that's a really interesting parallel.
I think it is, and I'm praising God for you and the vision that God's given you and given Glue. And so again, for more information, pastors, unfortunately we're out of time by the time. But how can people find Glue?
Well, you can learn more about our AI initiatives at ai.gloo.com. But if you're a pastor, go to glue.com and just set up an account. It's totally free. We've got great resources out there. We've got great hubs. But that's what we exist to do. So thank you so much for having us. Love the ministry that you're running.
Thank you. God bless you. Wow. Didn't see all that coming, man. Like, wow. That's really awesome.
Thank you. Got some really cool work.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm honored really that you could come talk to me.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Alright. Robbie, your next interview is ready whenever you are.
Easy.
Ollie there. This is Robbie.
Hey, Robbie. Easy.
Hello.
It's an honor.
Nice
Thanks
to
for having
It's an honor
me.
to meet you.
Yeah.
So, Emil.
Yes.
Swain.
I go by the initials Easy. You can introduce me as
Oh,
Emil, but
easy.
yeah, keep it nice and simple.
That's easy. I like it.
Yeah. Great to be with you.
So I'm waiting for the last one to say it.
No problem. Modern
Put those on to be
technology.
able to hear me better.
Okay.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
if you pull that up. I love that.
Yeah, it's a big problem, and we're hoping that will have an impact. So,
I am very excited for this.
yeah, we're good. How long have you been doing this?
Oh, this part of my career has been about 20 years.
20. Wow, that's great.
But I also host the Master Journey radio show, and we do John Eldredge style boot camps in North Carolina. And so I'm familiar with probably what this might have to do with.
Yeah, it's all sexual purity for men. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's cool. All right, well, we can get going.
How long are we going?
10 minutes.
Perfect.
Oh, how fun. We are on the convention floor, second day of the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. And often I have to think to myself, like, how did I get this job? Like, I get a chance to meet these amazing people. And God's doing really, really cool stuff. And one of the things that God calls people to do is write books. And so I'm so blessed to have with me Easy's Lane.
Bobby, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for taking this topic on. It's not a popular one, but it's a serious one. It's one that needs to be addressed. That's why I wrote it.
Yeah, and we're so glad. It's fight like a man, and it says a bold biblical battle plan for personal purity.
Right.
And wow, I mean, yeah, it's probably getting more and more popular than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's going to get a whole lot more popular because I'm sure, like me, you realize that there'd be very few men that don't fight this thing.
Well, and especially because of the accessibility of it. You know, when I was a kid, if someone wanted to look at pornography, they had to see a magazine, maybe a friend's dad had a stash, or maybe they came across a video somewhere, so I have a chance. But now, the click of a button, we all have these little supercomputers in our pockets. Anywhere you are, you have unlimited access. So it's become a serious problem. And the statistics tell us that 75% of professing Christian men struggle. 40% of women, which is a tragedy, that's increased. And then 18% of pastors. And I think that number is actually higher because most really don't be candid about that. And 95% of 11-year-olds will hit on. And so it's a serious cancer that's ravaging individuals, it's ravaging families, it's ravaging the church, and not much, sadly, is being done about it. So that was kind of an urgency behind writing the book. I wanted something that was biblically based, theologically sound, but also hyper practical and very memorable. And that's what came out.
2 Corinthians chapter 1, it says that God comforts others with the comfort that we ourselves have been comforted with. So, did you have your own shot at this?
Well, before I got saved, I was extremely involved. And, you know, we didn't have the technology we had today, but I definitely was ensnared as much as possible at that time and came to Christ back in 1991 before seminary. But as a man, I sympathized with the struggles I'm tempted on a daily basis, and I understand the pull. And so I wanted to help men, and the title of the book, I think, speaks to what it's really about, fighting like men. Whoever thought, Robbie, we'd be in a day and age where Supreme Court justice could not define what a woman is, right, or a nominee, at least back then. And so I wanted men to recognize that when you fight like men, that doesn't just mean that men are muscular and masculine and athletic and so forth. They could be all that, but true manhood is fighting like men. That men have integrity, they have courage, they have commitment, dedication, devotion. They're willing to lay their lives down for the sake of things that matter and things that they love. So that's what a real man does. And, you know, you ask any man, hey, if someone came and they were about to punch your wife in the face and they were about to shoot your kids, would you not jump in front of them and absorb that blow or that take that blow? Of course. And yet men aren't willing to fight when it comes to garbage. So I wanted to help men realize that. And the book is not a beat down book. You know, it gives men a good kick in the pants saying, hey, look, we need to deal with this. But then it gives the hope that we have in Christ. That no matter how badly you sin, how far you've gone, Lord can save you.
Yeah, which just is the first stage in the whole battle is to be aware that you got a battle.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of guys, you know, I do ministry with men a lot. And the first time you mention that these things are not holy, or they're not legal, or you really shouldn't be, you know, looking at this stuff, and you really shouldn't be involved in what happens after you look at it, and people look at like they're shocked.
Yeah.
They didn't know that.
Well, it's this desensitization that's happening because it's so prevalent. But, you know, and that's the tragedy. Men don't realize that we are in a battle. We're at war. So imagine, Robbie, a soldier being deluded into thinking that he's on a luxury cruise ship heading for the shores of Bora Bora, when in reality he's on a Higgins boat heading for the World War II shores of Normandy. I mean, if that's the mentality, oh, I'm on a luxury, he's going to saunter off that Higgins boat, flat in the bathroom, he's slippers with a remote in his hand, and a latte in the other, and he's going to get smoked. And so men need to recognize we are at war, and we need to have a wartime mentality. We need to know our enemies, we need to know their strategy against us, and then we need to have a counterattack. That's what I get into this book. I deal with the world, the flesh, and the devil, our three enemies, and then I give the counterattacks biblically. And then the last section, I give practical. It's called the 6 C's to succeed. I give 6 biblical principles that men can memorize, identify in a liberated fashion, and that they can use before the battle through what I call preventative preparedness, and in the midst of the battle, so that they can give their hearts and minds something to do, so that they can emerge. And really, the book gets into who we are completely as men, so that our hearts are shaped in such a way where we love and fear the Lord and walk in holiness.
And so let's talk a little bit about the aspects of what you're helping them with. I mean, what helped you? What passages were the ones that, man, okay, this is where I can find this.
Yeah, well, First Thessalonians 4:3 through 8, that the will of God is our sanctification, that we abstain from sexual immorality. And so, scriptures and, in the word speak to that clearly, that we are to be men who fight that battle. You're worried about anything but one that might not sin against you. How can you be a negative with here by keeping it according to your word, right? And on scripture goes. But sadly, a lot of men are looking for remedies in other places when the answers are right beneath their nose, right? We almost get kind of offended, like this is too simplistic. Prayer, the word, come on. I mean, if you rephrase that, talk to the omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, infinite God of the universe who holds every molecule in his hand and who loves me infinitely, who gave his son to die for me, pray, read the word that's living and active, sharper than any two-edged sword that God has given us. It's a foundation for our life. It's profitable for doctrine, for correction, for instruction, and righteousness. The man of God may be complete, thoroughly equipped for every good work. Read the word. What are we talking about? It's like we have neglected the things that are most important for our lives. So it's not just, hey, read the Bible and pray. I give a lot of practical tips on that. But we have to have that foundation of intimacy with Christ, a deep spiritual foundation, and then everything flows.
So how long ago did you publish it?
The book's been out now since September 3rd last year. And so I've been humbled by the response to it. So it's blown my mind, really. Debuted as the #1 new release, #1 bestseller in its category. It was in the top 1,200 out of 32.8 million books on Amazon, which has been humbling. It's been endorsed by Dr. John MacArthur. Ken Ham wrote the foreword. Kirk Cameron has endorsed it. Ray Comfort. And many others. So I've been blown away by the response. At the end of the book, I have an email address where people can write to share how the book has impacted them. And I've been blown away by the emails I've gotten.
What are some of the, tell us, what's a cool story that you think God was just instrumental in really?
Yeah. Well, I had a man write in who was sharing about how his marriage was falling apart on the brink. And he got a hold of the book, and the principles in it opened his eyes. The realization that he needed to open up to his wife to be candid and real and honest, and then to get the help that he needed. And it revolutionized his life. Another man that I met with in person who had read every book he could find, and then read my book, and he said it just opened his eyes in a whole new way. Because it's not just about moralism. Do this, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's about the grace of God. It's about what Christ can do in us. It's the fact that we have the power that raised Jesus from the dead running inside of us. And if we yield and surrender to the Lord, then God is going to do in and through us exceedingly abundantly more than we can ask for. So it's been a joy to see God doing that and impacting men in ways that I only dreamed of. I prayed for it, but I only began to see the results of it.
And so, obviously, this book, with all those connections, didn't come across vacuum. Have you done some previous books?
That's actually my first book, but I'm the president of the Ministry of Living Waters. Ray Comfort is our founder and our CEO. And so I've been involved in ministry for a long time. And the Lord just began to stir my heart in this regard, because men are drowning and they're hiding. And there's this sense of nobody understands what I'm battling here, and people are going to think I'm just this disgusting, wicked, evil man. And yeah, we are wicked. We are evil in our sinful nature. But a lot of men won't get that accountability because they think no one else understands. The other man is thinking the same thing. And if they open up and get real with each other, and that's something I talk about in the book, then they're going to see the results. And then, you have some men who say they can't help it, right? I've just been doing this long people. I have to say, if Elon Musk put $100 million and came up to a particular man and said, well, I'm going to give you this $100 million if you go 6 months without it. You can bet that every man would do whatever it takes, and they would succeed. Well, we'll do it for the love of money. We'll do it for the love of God. Yeah. And then there are others who say, well, you know what? I can't fall into this. This isn't me. A lot of pastors do that. And I love what Bodhi Baucham said. He said that the wisest man, the strongest man, and the godliest man in the Bible all fill in the section. So if you're saying you can't do that, you're saying you're wiser than Solomon, stronger than Samson, and godlier than King. And that's just straight out foolish.
No, it's required. We fight like a man, right? It's
Yeah.
by easy Swain. Wonderful things.
Yeah.
Wonderful things.
Thanks for having me, Robbie. It was a joy. Hey, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
I really enjoyed that.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, you know what? This is for you.
Oh,
Yeah. Enjoy it. Pass it on.
well,
to
I,
others.
you never know how many people I've left, and I don't.
Praise
Thank
God.
you.
God bless.
Sam, I'm next.
Hello, Sam.
I'm gonna go grab 2 books for you. I forgot. Just like
Okay.
100 feet
Go
away.
ahead. Go ahead.
How you doing, Ron?
Good. Good. Wonderful. Good to see you.
You're a busy man.
Oh yeah. We get to do it.
Robbie, he was right here.
Yeah, he went to get a book. He told me.
Oh.
It's Sam.
Sam
What's Sam's last name?
Blumenthal.
Blumenthal.
Okay.
Might be.
Yeah, he said he was Jewish before he came to Christ when he was 45.
Yeah, that would make sense. Basically.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Like, he was standing here the whole time. What happened?
Yeah, he'll be back.
Okay, and your 10:45 is right around too. We're rolling it. We're good.
All right, we got Sam. Oh, good. I like your cover.
Good luck to you.
Very, very beautiful.
Good.
Once upon a time.
That's right. That's how every good story begins.
Find their way. There you go, Sam. Yeah, please. Please, and hopefully you hear me better.
That's much better.
It's like you're in the phone.
I like it.
I like it. Sam, I love your name. Sam Blumenthal. Or maybe it'd be Shmuel.
Well, you got it. Shmuel. Shmuel. Yeah, grew up Jewish. North Carolina.
Really? Really? So
Yeah.
we're same.
Yeah, and not religious, but very practicing. Not even it's sad. But I think the church has become the same way in many ways. Even in Israel, 90% of the Jews don't believe in that Old Testament anymore. They're really Zionists. It's a political thing. And here it's very much the same. Less people who do, the people who do, Orthodox and Orthodox really believe. So I come to it's like, God, this stuff is real. It's like incredible, you know.
Well,
It's only the first part.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, let's get there. It's the stories, but this is about. So, man, here we are, 2025 National Religious Broadcasters Convention. We had to come all the way to Dallas to meet somebody for Charlotte. That's kind of funny from my standpoint. Who are of the Truth Network, primarily our focus. And we certainly have stations. Actually, with Sam Blumenthal, and you couldn't help but love one of his books. She has a series of them apparently called Once Upon a Time, or it could say in the beginning. Uh, however you want to put that. But Sam, story, man. I love to tell a good story.
He does. And he's used stories in my life since the very beginning of his spiritual life. Jewish in Charlotte, not religious, but practicing. And it was that God was really, to be honest. I came to faith at 45, and it all became real to me the very first time. And God actually used stories from the very beginning for me. I've been a psychologist for over 30 years, very Freudian, about dreams, and into myself one night, prayed for God to give me a dream. I'd actually never asked Him for anything because He was not revealed to me yet. I believe in the Old Testament, but still not as good as it could be. He gave me a dream every night. It was an incredible dream. Dreams are stories, but then the dream was connected to a movie I had just seen, which is another story. And that was kind of right. And then he's used stories ever since with me.
Well, I know everybody listening to this is the same question.
Yeah.
You got to know. What was the dream?
So, I really, the cross was, I couldn't understand the cross. I mean, I heard it explained in many different ways. You're separated from God. It says that. Lions over it. And, but the blood, the cross, this standing as substitutionary death. I mean, I've heard it explained in many ways in the gospel, but it just, I had no conviction about, I could say the words, you want me to say the words, but I wanted it to mean more. It was like, it was also married to my second wife, who's a believer, but the relationship was difficult at best. I was kind of into myself really because of that. But thinking, I'd be doing better, we'd be doing better if I knew Christ and learned, well in you, just God, like I need to be. So I asked him for a training. See, this night, between two things. A lot of my life now still having struggled. But it's like, blood and all that. It's like, I know there's something that please explain that. So, I had a lot of dreams during the night. I had one just before and this second. These dreams where all of a sudden you're in a situation in your church and what's going on. Hard people there don't notice you, you're done or just observing. It's kind of medical research. It's on, they're going about their work, nobody's saying anything. And then I'm looking on the floor, there's a huge cross, which is a real fixed what it is, I just kind of feel good. They don't feel like they care about it. It's one lady's getting ready to give them some injection on what's going on here, but I don't know what you can do with this. The girl that looks at me and she goes, "Dude, he says, I'll give you Father." So I've never asked God for anything. It's the first time I've actually prayed very specific. I don't believe in God. It is the cross is in the dream, but the most amazing. So actually, when I thought about that, I knew that first. I knew where that came from. It would have been more incredible if I said, Jesus said. So in essence, what he's saying is, Father, everybody here is complicit in one another right now. Everybody, all of you. What? They're not complaining. No one's you don't just provide a way.
So I'm curious. I know we're talking about these books, which are going to be awesome. But I hate to use that for time. You have me so intrigued. I'm just I gotta know.
I don't want to skip over it.
We'll have to give this more time. But you're a clinic. These are clinical people. That's your work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you catch the picture? Like,
So what God's on the playground was that people there who I always do.
that's what
And
I.
how detached
Right,
and,
right.
and
Like,
I'm
you gotta
passionate that and I'm playing on the fence. So this is who he is. This is who you're becoming. So the gorilla is a person in the movie instinct. Who Jim with Michael Douglas, instinct. The whole movie's about gorillas, and I said recognizing pretty much a weeks earlier. And the most powerful thing, so really that first, what it convicted me of was a percentage that and lost. And most of the person blind. Yeah, and so that was it really is hopeless. I really am. Right. That was really the answer. Richard, watch the movie. It's a great movie. Didn't really Spider-Man, American Professor goes and studies the drill and sees the concept. They're like a chain gun and everything. It's like,
I don't have it on this is my list of schedule for today.
Literally, these men
Hard
shooting gorillas, and he takes down the men who are killing.
He's also doing, I don't know what they're doing for
He gets shot in the chest and he dies. And he says, he's telling this after the fact. He says, I brought the takers death. Takers are just selfish people. It's not a fault. But he, the gorilla, looks at me. So at the end of the movie, I was like, oh, king.
Well, I get it.
Gave his sacrificial. Gave his life. Yeah. Oh my God. It was like, you might go to think of something. I'm just put that all together myself. It's not great. I can't think of it. It's like God is saying, you've been wondering about this. You saw this movie 2 weeks ago. It couldn't have been more clear in the movie why Christ had to die. You didn't get it. Go watch the movie. You put the gorilla there.
I'm watching that movie now.
You knew I would go watch the movie again, and that's the answer.
You sold me on instinct. Now you got to sell me on what's it.
Well, yes.
I mean, what a story, Sam. That's amazing.
Well, that's how it began, but after God, we just continue to use stories in my life, spiritually. You really have little breakthroughs.
yes. So there's
Narnia,
several
other
stations there. We run
Hannah Hurd, classical kinds of different places, use that in major ways. They just continue to use stories. So I started writing that. And they're they all have different aspects of the gospel, but I hope they will teach and inspire. Look at prompt people to have little breakthroughs like God has done in my life. Tim Keller popularized the phrase that the whole gospel can be summarized by the phrase, worse than I ever imagined, more love than I ever dreamed. Focus. As believers, there's still grace. You can still go so far. I don't know if it's realistic about it, but it's like, don't be content with where you are.
So as God calls you to write a book, which is just, I mean, I'm just sitting there in awe. But he always, in other words, he takes you on this, and you're a deep processing man. What did he, as you're compiling either book this time, what did he just went and just took your breath like, oh, and if you're teaching me this through the story I'm telling, right? What was it?
Well, I'm not sure if I understand the question.
In other words, you're writing the story.
Yeah.
Well, God's dictating it to you some extent.
Well, it starts with some basic gospel truth. The whole People talk about the Bible being a four-chapter story of creation, which is critical. God made us the core part of ourselves. He knows God, knows His love, knows life will work with perfect love. Yet don't fall. We love with because of other things and worship other things instead of God and redemption through Christ, which is really trying to help us find our way back to God and stop worshiping all these other things. And then one day He's just going to come back and restore the whole world. But some idea, and again, tell ourselves sin is a bigger. It always has. As believers, we forget about that. God wants to accomplish. But He's really waiting. We need His help. We're sin without Him. He'll help us. And so the stories all started with some aspect of that. And telling a story in which a person's in over their head one way or another. God's redemptive grace comes in.
He's also
No, it is. So it starts with him as a very old man, bitter,
there's like life
his idols, well, verse 6. The misery. And then the Holy Spirit works through these things, those which is like, oh, by the way, we're going to show you the story of your life. And it's all in the fact that I did That's how it started. And he bought up
Which program?
success was satisfied.
So they want to do
and he sees him now, he's a convergent version of himself. Completely like that. There's no else. And that's it. God wants to help us. We'll let him. That's it. Every story is a word. And even
They all bow.
the majority of storytellers are not believers, but it's still the same story.
Oh, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The more you see it, the more you understand it. Now we got to go watch it.
Yeah.
It's Samuel. Once upon a time, right? If you go to Amazon, all of it's probably there.
They are.
And once upon a time, I am totally with you. If you are, again, if you get these on Amazon, go back and give him a review. Tell him how much, because it's a fun journey he's got you on, Samuel. And I am so. We're going to have you back. That didn't get enough time.
God, this is Charlie.
Yes, I mean, all right. God bless. How cool.
That was so much fun.
Oh, yes.
That's the best 15 minutes I've had since I've been here.
Yeah, well, we can do it over the phone, or you can come up to Winston. Either
I would
way,
love to.
we're
No,
awesome.
I'll do it. I'm a big bluegrass guy. I was just up there for, we went to the Romcat, and we see Town Mountain, bluegrass man. Yeah.
Man, just Samuel, what a great team.
Well, thank you. So Joni Baker Sullivan connected us.
Oh, really? One of my good friends.
Yeah, I'm
She's
so glad she did.
Me too.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having me. Have a good conference.
I already had one to be on today.
Really? Did they just stop by and say, can I come on?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Can I come on? Can I put my stuff? This is Heather, Robbie.
Sorry, I gotta get this before
You're
I...
typing in. I'm sorry. He has a system. I don't want to mess up his
Don't
system.
mess up his system. Fundraise, and they do. And the truckers in Canada a few years ago, when they were protesting, GoFundMe shut them down. And lots of news stories are shut down by GoFundMe, and we are here to share the hope of Jesus while people fundraise.
Well, that is awesome. Wilson. And you're obviously passionate about it.
Yes, we've been doing it for 10 years. We're the second
Really?
largest platform under GoFundMe, and we're in 80 countries around the world. So God has totally expanded for us.
All right, well, here we go. Can you hear me okay? Can you move your microphone back a little bit? There you go. There you go. Wow, it's so fun to be here, as always, at the NRB 2025, the second day. God brings so many amazing things. I mean, there's different varieties, from the author. Now we've got Give, Send, Go. We've got Heather Wilson with us. And when you hear the word give, and you hear the word send, and you hear go, you may be thinking something like I thought, but I'm going to bet you're like me that no, that isn't what they're talking about. Give, Send, Go. Tell us about it, Heather.
Sure. So Give Send Go was started about 10 years ago as a alternative to sites like GoFundMe and online fundraising platforms. Me and a couple siblings had been seeing this crowdfunding phenomenon take off, where people came together when someone's car broke down. Everybody gave $10 and got the person's car fixed. And we thought, what a cool idea! It's almost like what that church in Acts did, where when there's a need, everybody came together. And so we thought, let's create a platform where we could allow people to raise funds and do great things in the world, but where we share hope with them while they're fundraising. And so Give Send Go was born, and we have been on an amazing ride. Yes, in the last 10 years, we're now in over 80 countries, millions of dollars, and people using our platform every day to raise funds for things that we can.
And so it sounds like the title is Discovery. Obviously, people are going to give, but the idea of going is to share the gospel. Is that my understanding?
Sure. So, as we got the name and we thought, oh, this is a pretty cool name, and especially as a Christian, it's quite not to give. We said giving, obviously, the people giving the money. We thought that the go would be the people that are actually raising the money. Maybe they're going on a mission trip. Maybe they're raising money for their friend who has cancer, and they're going to be the answer for Jesus, how to visit that person. And then the senders, we actually have something unique on our platform that GoFundMe and some of those others don't have. We have a pray button where you can go and say, I don't have money right now this morning, but I'm going to shoot you a prayer message. And so we say that's the send people prayers and messages of hope. We actually have a hope team that calls every campaign and prays with people over what they're raising.
I love that. So the send has become that part of the platform. It is to obviously connect God and know what's going on. So, apart from me, I understand I can't do it.
Absolutely. We learned that again in there.
Yeah, this is funny. So you're here at the NRB? Like, what? Are you guys in Dallas?
So I live on the eastern shore of Maryland.
Oh, wow. So you came a long way.
A little bit. And then my brother, who's my co-founder, he lives up in Massachusetts. We grew up in Southern New Hampshire. And so we've come to the NRB, we're members. We've come a few different times in the years. And we love the connections that we find here. We are getting ready to launch a sister company a few weeks ago called Film Launcher, where it's crowdfunding, the same premise of fundraising for films. We've had a lot of people come to us saying, I have a documentary, I have a film, I want to go the Hollywood route, but I need help with distribution and fundraising. And so we're putting together a platform that hopefully in the next 6 to 8 months will be ready for all the filmmakers.
And that's huge. It shows that that's very, very possible. You've got the right content come alongside you, right? He's obviously figured out a way to bless all those things. And really cool that you guys are the middleman, right? I have a ministry called where we help single moms with those with their car repair and that kind of thing. And it's always been us. In other words, we got this radio show. We got ways to reach people that are donors. But having the donors is of no value if you don't have the people that need it, right? And so and the people that need it, it's hard to be humble enough to say, you know what, I need help.
I see that a lot. People go, it's really hard to because this happened in my life. And I don't want to ask. And we go, you're robbing people of blessing when you don't bless you from all the good things. Now, I'm not talking about just begging all the time, complaining that life is hard and you never have enough money to pay for it. Everybody can find this. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that unexpected, your daughter gets in a car accident, let's say killed, and you have funeral expenses. We see campaigns like that over and over on Gibson Hill. Someone finds themselves in a situation, and they're just going, the financial stress of this, on top of the emotional stress of whatever just happened, is overwhelming. Some of Gibson Hill, you'll be able to get help with the financial stress. But we're also going to, like I said, we'll call and say, hey, we're from the Hope Family Gibson Go. Can I just pray with you about what you're going
What's funny
through?
about that is we end up, I've always thought with Jesus Legal Up, we make way more impact because everybody that contacts us, only about 80, I should say 80% never really go through with getting the help. So all 100% get prayed for. So 20% actually, whatever, they get the help. But everybody gets prayer, which ends up sometimes when people call us back so we'll pray with them, they don't do the same kind of thing. That's what I love about what you guys are doing is that prayer is actually fundamentally the biggest thing you can do.
And we hear that over and over again. Someone will find themselves in a hard situation and they said, you don't even know the money was instrumental. I needed that money. But when I was at my lowest, I would go and read through the prayer myself. And that is what kept me going in this hard time. It really is. Prayer is so important.
And God bless you.
Yes.
And so you guys are like, how big? I heard at the beginning of the show, I was like, really? And you've been at it for 10 years now.
Yeah, it's actually funny. As a former stay-at-home mom with no college degree, that I'm now running an international multi-million-dollar organization with many employees and navigating some hard things. So, about 5 years ago, we found ourselves in the middle of a storm in the United States because we allowed somebody that the other platform said we're not going to be allowed to fundraise. His name is Kyle Rittenhouse. I don't know if you remember that story. It's a young guy who unrest during the George Floyd stuff. Everybody was one side or the other fighting, and he came to our platform looking for legal defense for us. He needed to raise money for his legal defense. And we were like, do we allow something this opportunity on our platform? We want to share the hope of Jesus. Like, is this where we're supposed to be? And we felt very strongly that God said, after some prayer and fasting, that this is why God gave a platform to those who might not feel like they have a voice. With standing up for that truth and allowing somebody a platform to raise money for their legal defense, whether they're innocent or guilty. They deserve it. And we allowed him to raise funds, and we've kind of thrown ourselves into this national spotlight of being, we don't just follow what those other platforms do. If Facebook wants to take you down, it doesn't mean Give and Go is going to take you down. Obviously, we don't allow illegal activity on our site, but we're going to stand for people's freedoms that are afforded to them in the United States. And now we've exploded into over 80 countries, and we're the second largest philanthropic crowdfunding platform.
And it sounded like the first time I heard it, it sounded like gifts send go to this conference. Give, give, send, go. What a beautiful thing. And like you say, and I've seen that with so many different things. When God decides, okay, here's the real thing. This is what we're going to give the money. And then he puffed it up. I say the grant. And on next thing you know, is whatever God has in mind, he does it. And then he gives us the honor of just going to hang along and help it. Whatever angle he gives you. And I love the idea, too, of the whole idea of this film launcher that prayer is going to be involved in that, right?
Absolutely. There will, it is going to be very similar. There'll be differences because filmmakers do some different things. But prayer is really a foundation. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is found in Psalm 1. It says, because he bends his ear to me, I will cry. I will continue to cry out. And I love the picture. It's not that I cry out so then he bends his ear. He's already bending his ear. Because he's like leaning down and he wants to hear from us, that should cause us to want to talk to him. And over my life, I've just seen more and more evidence of God's faithfulness and His desire for relationship with us. And so everything we do here at Kitsendo, at Film Launcher, at anything that God puts in front of our path, He is going to. We don't dare do it without prayer.
Heather Wilson with Give, Send, Go.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, how cool. That's really, really great.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's been an interesting ride for sure.
I am sure. It's amazing.
Well, it was great chatting with you.
Same here, same here. I hope you have a great convention.
Thank you.
Bless this place.
Thank you. That's great.
Are you ready?
Who's next?
Technically, it was a Chris Whittington, but he's not here. Oh, that's you. Oh, nobody. I'm sorry.
No, dear, we were trying to stay out of your way.
Okay. You are next.
Okay. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Colleen.
Hello, Chris.
Oh, excuse me, my knees bother me. Hi, Robbie. Nice to meet you, sir. This is Joan Tankersley.
Hi, Benita's been working with us, so I know you know who that is. And I don't know if you've got any of this information in any time.
I don't use it.
Roll with it.
There you go. This will be fun. Yes,
Put
sir.
this on with
Kids,
Heather.
I'll leave you on it.
Okay.
Can you hear me all
I
right?
can, sir.
If you could move that microphone.
Yeah. Is that better?
Yes. So have you got a card or something along those lines? I guess just give me the page.
Yeah. Here, let me do this. Give it your hand.
They'll have your name on it and the name.
I'm going to give you this, and let's get that CD out of your pocket.
Yeah.
This is what he's here to, not, he's actually here to talk about Jesus, but this is the product that he uses to do this music. Industry, I'll let you guys know.
All right.
I'm intrigued with Christian car guy. That's excellent.
Yeah, that was my original radio show for which God blessed a lot of ways.
How long, may I ask you, how long did you do it?
I've been doing it and still my main thing. 18 years. In fact, it'll stream live right now on Facebook and all that stuff. But eventually I'll put it on the Christian Car Guy podcast because I have the most listeners to that.
Great.
And so we'll get you out there.
Thank you for having me today.
Oh, it's going to be fun. It'll absolutely be fun. In his presence is fullness of joy. I've said that.
Yes, sir.
And I think David said it. But obviously God said it.
Yeah, it's okay for you.
Yes. Very, very fun. So amazing times here at the NRB 2025. It's the second day. It's another day. You know, God is bringing in front of us here at the Truth Booth. I'm blown away. And so now I have one that you don't know how near and dear. Well, I saw on your sheet said it's Whittington Steel. So I've got Chris Whittington.
Yes.
Now, steel, if it's what I'm thinking, it's just steel.
Structural.
Right? Like, we're talking about stuff that formed this country in so many different ways. And one of the books that radically changed my life was, I think, it's written by Napoleon Hill, which was The Secrets
Yes.
of Andrew Carnegie.
Yes.
So it was all about the steel.
Yes. That's right. Well, you got it right, Robbie. I own a small business in Houston, Texas, and we distribute structural steel to small and medium-sized construction and maintenance companies. You probably know this. Houston's practically the steel center of the world as far as projects. You got oil and gas, and just now we've got AI stuff happening. You saw that Elon has moved to Texas, and a lot of great things going on that we're very excited about. But yes, structural steel is a big deal.
Oh yeah. It's, a lot of people think Birmingham is too young. Yeah, maybe from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But
All appropriate.
very cool. So, what brings Chris Whittington to the NRB?
Well, thank you for asking. I'm here promoting both of my music projects. I'm an independent Christian music artist, music artist, and the first album is called Life Portal. Now, we released that 10 years ago. We're about to re-release it in a special edition we're having at remastered by the great Bob Wood. Some of the listeners may know Bob. And then this album here that we're doing is Reality. We released that this past year. And,
Very creative. And I didn't say, I hate you guys on Facebook, whatever, you can see this a little bit. You see this owl right here? What he's saying is, who said there's a secret song? Who said that? And what I mean, it's not immediately got to listen. Like, who said there's a secret song? Who said that?
Who said that? Well, there is a secret hidden track after you hear all the listed tracks.
You can't spin it backwards.
No, and especially for your fans of Phil Kenton, the awesome guitarist Phil Kenton, they'll want to hear
Same
that.
thing with the background.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's a little mystery buster. It's massive. It's fantastic. I believe some of his work. I'm a little biased.
Oh, that's good. You should be. That's a good deal. So, what's fascinating to me is that your other line of work, which is Steve, that inside of Think You Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill was his literary trick, not unlike what you did here. Said inside every single chapter of this book is Andrew Carnegie's secret. Now, I'm not going to tell you where that secret is. It'll be in every single chapter of the book. And when your mind is ready for it, then you can get it as a secret.
Isn't that great? How enigmatic and mysterious.
Which made me read that book time and time again until I could isolate that. So here we have this idea of a secret song. So, Chris, do you write your own music?
I do, sir. Thank you for asking. I write and arrange my own music, melodies, lyrics. I also have a writing partner. Some of your fans may know the name Kipper Crabb, who's one of the seminal original CC members of really Jesus music that happened in the 60s and 70s that began this whole industry. Really.
Oh, yeah?
And Kipper is my producer and sometimes writing partner.
So, I love the creative process. So you're a music writer, and I feel a guilty from the blues. So have you ever seen the movie Bag of Ants?
It's been a long time, Robbie, but yes.
Let me take you back there. So, Bag of Ants is a caddy. This movie is not about golf, it's about the Holy Spirit, and he's showing Jonah, who is a golfer, that he lost his swing. And he gets involved in this crazy match where he literally did it his back to the better word. So this is what's going on, and then all of a sudden he says it's time, Jonah, for you to see the field. And he says, you watch this other golfer, and he says, you see how he's focused, he's concentrating, he's searching for something. He's searching, he's making his practice swing. And he says, he has a lot of shots he can take. He could use a dove, all these golf turns out.
Right.
And he says, but the perfect shot he chooses first. And he said, that's his one true, authentic shot he was given. This is the beginning of time. Given only And I've often thought that in the creative process, if I create a radio show or doing interviews, what I'm doing is I'm searching
Right, for that perfect show.
whatever that may be.
Whatever
Right?
it may be.
And then God gives it to you. And so I was interviewing King and Country here, I don't know, 6 months ago. And I asked them about the creative process. Because I didn't get them to build up like this gave you because I needed all their time. And I went, and I said, so tell me what that's like. And here's what they said. I said, you know, Robbie, we go in there and there's good ideas, but that's no good. You know, we're trying to. He said, we're just searching. And all of a sudden, the right melody, the right lyric, it chooses us.
Yes. I really appreciate that. On my Bright Portal album, it includes one of the tracks is a hymn reset, I said. Basically, it's a late 18th, early 19th century hymn singing called Saints and Glory. And it's just wonderful, incredibly Bible-based, scriptural-based lyrics. And not the most singable melodies. And the church I was working in as a worship leader, I took it upon myself to write a new melody. And I've got a point here, Robbie. I wrote 3 different melodies that were all very vastly different. It wasn't until that third one, How Trinitarian, you got that for free, that I hit on this one. And I've been privileged to have several people tell me that it's the greatest hymn reset that they've ever heard. For what that means.
And it's on which album?
It's not on this one, it's on Bright Portal. Actually, the phrase Bright Portal is a phrase from a song called Saints and Glory. The hymn that I wrote for you, melody and arrangement. And the point was that it be singable for the church. So that's much of my own and the instrumental focus. We have a current single that's doing very well in Europe, of all places, with the pithy title, God Will Supply All Your Needs, our needs. I got that first time, which is lifted directly from the book of Luke. And the birds of the air, God takes care of them, and the lilies of the field, all that good stuff. And it's, like I say, almost directly from Scripture. But I wrote that, and during the financial meltdown in the world, 0809, and there were a lot of people in the church, Christians especially, that were getting pretty desperate. They were having a hard time making money. And so I wanted something that was singable that we could sing and remind ourselves of the truth. God has, He is, and He will supply all of our needs.
So if you're listening to this, what you're hearing, I'm sure, is that there's a worship. In order to worship, in order to lead worship, you have to first be a worshiper.
That's good. That's right.
So, what is that? I hate that I only have a minute or two left for that question, but what does that word worship mean?
Giving back to God all
You know, it's an amazing word. It's a Hebrew word. Maybe you've heard it.
I have not heard.
But, you know, and many times he says, especially in Deuteronomy 6, where it says, you know, love the Lord your God with all your might, with all your soul, with all your strength, with all your meals.
Very good.
That's everything.
The title, I know you got a moment, the title of this newest album, Realitorium, I'm using that to mean it is the cosmos. It is everything that God knows. He tells us in His Word that we can know Him because He needs the knowledge of Himself. And so Realitorium is the cosmos. It is everything that God is.
It's, for us, it's meal. It's all you got.
Yeah. Very good.
I love it.
I'm going to remember that.
I am too. I'm going to remember what you said, because you said it so beautifully. And I love people that have that Scott, my gift.
Yeah. It's my responsibility to develop the God-given gift, yes, as you've done so masterfully, Christian Cardinal. But that's our part in the process. It's our responsibility to develop to become all that He made us to be. Because freedom doesn't happen with being with a weapon. That is freedom. In this culture, people want to believe it's my ability to run around and do what I want to do. That's not the truth. The truth is to become all that the living God made you and made you to be. That is our freedom.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure meeting you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Back at you.
Yeah, that was.
It is. I mean, this is unbelievable. The clearinghouse of talent and knowledge and experience, and it's a sample of it. Yeah. It is. Thank you, sir.
I hope you have an amazing time.
No, thank you. It's been great so far, and you've been a big part of that, Robert. If I can ever talk to you again, it would be my privilege.
Oh, we will.
Yeah,
we
thank
will.
you,
We'll
sir.
set up some.
That'd be great. Thank you.
His contact information is in that sheet. I'll be calling.
Please.
I will.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Robbie, you're doing great.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
Right there.
I hear you're going strong. Do you need a minute to?
No, I'm fine. It's got to go. Yeah, I'm glad you. Thank you for being patient. I guess you've been standing there.
Oh, that's okay. No, we were enjoying talking to Colleen.
So, have you got a card or?
I do. It's in my purse. I'll give it to Colleen
right.
as soon as we finish up.
People want to know who you are.
Oh, you are good.
Yeah,
you
it's
are
a cheat sheet.
I stole it.
Get one of my cards
That's
out
a subtle way of saying, who are you and what am I talking about?
That's so sweet. You're so sweet.
I shared your secrets. I'm
So
sorry, Robbie.
I like that because I'm terrible with names, so I'm going to start using that. Thank you, card.
Yeah, if I just sit here and look at it,
I'm Ingrid Scott. I'm an obstetrician, and I have a lot to say about pro-life stuff.
yeah, if you put that on, then good. So, is your name actually?
So the last name is Scott, like Scott.
Oh, thank goodness. The
Oh.
backside of this card, I was like, it can't be Virginia headquarters. I was like, Virginia headquarters?
Yeah.
No, I've never met a
Happily, I'm a Texas Scott.
Ingrid Scott. Scott?
Yes, sir.
We've talked before, haven't we?
Probably.
I could swear we have.
Uh-huh.
Some other, I've been doing this for.
Yeah. I've been here the last 2 years. Or 3 years. This was
Yeah, we probably either in Florida or Tennessee. All right. Yeah, how fun. We just one after the other today on the floor. Second day of the NRB. We're with Ingrid Scott, MD, with the Lozier Institute. And so I know everybody listening is going, what is the Lozier Institute?
The Lozier Institute is dedicated to science and statistics regarding life issues. I'm a board-certified OBGYN practicing for 30 years, so I have the privilege of caring for women and at the same time doing research to really help them understand.
So what is going on?
Well, what is going on in our country is that the American public have been gaslighted for years about the topic of children and adulthood. And I'm here to just shed some light on things to help them understand. Obviously, we all know scientifically that children are lying, but in so many cases it harms us in our lives. And as an advocate for our life, we obviously are here to tell you what's going on.
So physically it harms the mother as well?
often does. I mean, a woman's body is biologically primed to bond with her child. That happens regardless of the circumstances. It's hard on women. Many women suffer mental health complications following abortion. There are short-term complications. When the abortion industry tells us that it's safer than Tylenol and that abortion is safer than childbirth, they're relying on very poor quality data. In fact, in our country, there is nothing about this data that is naturally collected. So basically, we're depending on the industry to tell us how safe the product is. We didn't believe it when the tobacco industry pulled that, and we really shouldn't believe it today.
That's an amazingly important point you just made. I never put that together until you just said it. And the reason I know that is it affected my life greatly. Personally, my mother lost a baby. That was actually my older brother. But it wasn't an abortion. She lost a baby. But back then, the way they handled that, they didn't name the baby. She never got to hold the baby. It went full term. They gave it the wrong medicine. The baby died. And the next thing you know, the baby was just gone. And it caused my mother to go into a depression that lasted for years and years until it ended with a horrible attempt at suicide. And she took all her medications. She was on mine went back to the car where she was in Detroit, Michigan, in the dead of winter for that week. And so it almost took her life. And it took her years to recover, right? Which affected my, because I was being raised by my grandparents, whatever. My mom was, right? And so it's that think about all these, wow, I've got to overcome this. Like you just said, it's a quick, easy fact to state. But oh my gosh, what kind of impact does it have on generations of not just the mom, but of the mom's family afterwards, and all they feel are
Right. I mean, we have had, for 50 years, our country has said this is a solution for women's complex problems. It's a lazy answer because it has kept us from addressing the real solutions. But like you say, the women may think they're in crisis. Their automatic response is whatever it takes to get me out of this crisis. A pro-life feminist wrote that obtaining an abortion is like an animal caught in a trap and chews off his leg to save himself. That's what it's like. And like you say, it has echoes throughout all of women's it can affect subsequent pregnancies and even bonding with subsequent. So I'm all about discussing reproduction in all of its aspects, but to take this one aspect of a woman's reproductive life and to separate it and to make it a political issue and then to lie to women about the ramifications and about how it's going to impact them is so disappointing. We have such a medical crisis in our country, so much drugs. As you said, there are so many women out there who are living with experience today. They can't talk about it. They want to hide it.
yeah, because what's happened, obviously, we all know that grief, mourning is a giant process of what happens. When they lose a baby, and they're not taught that they have something important. They have something that they've had a tremendous life. And that whole family, it's a time bomb. Again, I'm so amazed at how God raises folks like you that champion this cause. It's kind of cool how God has used the Lozier Institute. So tell folks a little bit about what's Lozier and what's that.
Well, as I said, the data is terrible. And so we have a narrative that is driven by pro-abortion media, and it references pro-abortion sources like Planned Parenthood. to try to whitewash the issue and to try to promote it. I mean, there's, why it is that a woman in crisis we can't say. Also, there's a pregnancy center that would love to support you, but I think we've all seen, not only do they promote abortion as the only solution, but they actually actively vilify pregnancy centers and fake clinics. And so we've got that going on, just demonstrating that the industry is not pro-choice, they're pro-abortion, because they think that should be the solution for all of these women. So what Closure does is we look to see what does the evidence really say. And it can be hard because, again, there's no mandatory reporting. So how do we find out that? In many cases, we've gone to European countries because over there they usually have a single payer healthcare that pays for abortion. But we can find out what happens to children without abortion. What we discovered is that many of them more than 1 in 2 people suffer need surgery when they have these abortion problems. So many times they fail to do the job. And our FDA, in the meantime, has taken away all the safeguards. So now they can order it online, they can deliver no medical. I'm caring for women in Texas. We're trying to protect unborn life. Women are getting these drugs. They're having complications. There's no providers. New York or from Amsterdam. And so I can't So that's happening. Mental health, European studies tell us that 6 times as likely to commit suicide in the year following abortion. So we go wherever we can for the data. But we've got a lot of great information on our website, but we just continue to want to do it.
And so you're here at the NRB to obviously bring awareness, but at the same time, this is.
Well, I just wanted to let you know about us. I believe there are many good-hearted Americans, many good-hearted Christians who think that we're worth your time. And so they think that if your passionate response is to say, well, we should have a crisis. But I would like to help them understand that every successful election ends with 96% of the time it's for financial and social reasons. And that's a human rights issue. We're ending human life for financial and social reasons. We can address financial and social problems in a different way other than saying your option is to end your child's life, and then, as we discussed earlier, all of the downstream harms that come to the
Right. It seems unthinkable. However, I know it's so true that you would think within the church this is the problem. Oh, yes, it is. The church, needs to stay high, and they think that what these versus faith gets overturned means, we turn it. It speaks to that.
Our job is not done. The battle has changed. So we did win a battle with dogs, but at the same time, and we did save babies' lives, but abortions have increased. How are both of those things happening at the same time? It's because these drugs are being shipped through the mail. Women are being told, just keep it in your medicine cabinet. So I've talked to young women that have a fight with their boyfriend to take the drugs in an emotional way, but they didn't even mean to do it. They don't even want to do it. So it's really a problem. But also, Americans are being lied to. They're being told that doctors can't provide quality care. Every single state law allows an exception if the patient is needed to protect the life of another, but they're being told differently. Doctors are inconvenienced. So I'm here to talk about that and to say my care for my patients has not changed in 30 years because most obstetricians do not do it. So nothing's changed.
Wow, you can see it's important stuff to know. It's Losier Institute. Again, you go to Losier Institute, it's just losierinstitute.org. Again, Ingrid Scott, thank you. God bless you. Very great.
Thank you for sharing about your mother.
Well, she lived to be 86 years old. She had a miraculous psychiatrist that really, really helped her get her life back. She told her whole memory. She had a fabulous ministry.
It's so heartbreaking. My husband is a psychiatrist, so we're on both ends of this, and we just people are being led us. I mean,
Yeah, you're right. You couldn't be more right. Thank you for bringing it up. That opened up my eyes to even more of it than I.
Yeah. Well, thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.
It's been great. Good luck with all of your interviews today. Did I give you a card yet? Oh, I did. I think. Yeah.
You want my card?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yes.
Is that it? Are you dead? No, I'm not dead. I'm just checking in for that. Oh, yeah, we're ready. We're ready. He's stuck with Jack Hicks right now, so we're trying to. Oh, this way. Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure you know he's on his way. Okay. All right. Not a problem. Not a problem. You know how it goes. It's like, I know. I'm like, that's like, I mean, it's too tight to like try to get. I mean, I had so many people who wanted in here, and I was like, okay, well, they could let somebody in, or the next person comes, and we'll just let them in, and then switch it out. Yeah. Yeah, that's how we've been doing it. Okay. Robbie, Dr. Friedman is your next one from Shield of Faith Missions. He's on his way. He's stuck with Jack Hibbs at the moment. So we'll just play it by ear. So you just breathe. You need some water and things like that. Or... I'm fine. You're good? Okay.
It's coming.
And he's on it. Yeah, she said they're with Jack Hibbs.
I'm at 5 minutes ahead of time. Anyway.
You're a little ahead. You're okay. The folks from A. Larry Ross invited you to lunch too because you've been helpful with everything. So I didn't know if you had plans for lunch already or not, but they have a suite. The agency is A. Larry Ross Communications, so several of your interviews have come from them, including Dr. Stockton and Chad. So Mr. Bowers said, I was invited to a media thank you lunch or something. Just up, come and go as you want to between 12 and 1:15 or something in their suite. They've got sandwiches and things like that. We'd like to go, he said, tell Robbie. So.
My wife is okay.
But I felt
really
like
awesome. I
thought that was very nice. Wasn't that very nice? Like the first year I did this, we got invited to lunch for, because we've been, helpful. So take your picture.
I'll know that next year.
There you go. Lovely.
Take care.
You too. Thank you.
Talk to you.
Actually, a little bit.
Oh wow. Right. Robbie is still in Colleen. You can come up for lunch.
Well, that's very, very nice. My wife had already supposed to meet her here, and so that's awesome.
I get Chick-fil-A, and it's free.
I hate I'm gonna miss it.
Huh?
I hate I'm gonna miss it, but she already said something.
Oh, she sent you something. I thought she said she was coming to meet you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I get on that list? I'd like to be interviewed.
Yes, awesome. Love to see you.
Russ wanted on this too. I'm like, you don't talk to him all the time.
I don't ever see him. He's in Winston. I'm in Raleigh.
You never go to Winston.
I see Robbie once a year.
So this is the only time you'll all ever see each other.
Yeah.
It's just here.
I don't know. You at the beach. I might come see you.
There you go.
I might come tour your
You
station.
can come tour our station.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years since juniors have seen us.
Really? I see him about 3 times a month.
Oh, you see him
He
now.
comes to Raleigh all the time. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Stop knocking it.
Come on. Be careful.
I need to talk to you.
No, he doesn't like that at all.
Well, this is different. So he is on his way, whoever's.
Dr. David Friedman from Shield of Faith Missions. I guess he's on air with Jack Hibbs or something. Jack Hibbs is a preacher from California. So they were trying to pull him away from him. So whether they got backed up or whatever they did. So just breathe easy, I guess, unless you want to pull somebody else in.
There isn't anybody else here, right?
Well, I don't have your last one at 11:45 yet.
Who's the?
Grant Berry from the Romans 9:11. No, not yet.
If he gets here.
Right.
Romans 9:11. Maybe I'll look at Romans.
There you go. Up to it. I don't know more. No, unless, like you said, you just pull a off-site interview or off the floor interview.
Children, not yet. Either have done any good or evil. God is relationship.
There's a book, I think. We're almost. Russ said he wanted you to interview him about his Greece trip.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
I did an interview with you a few years ago, Gina Fox.
Yeah, good to see you.
Nice to meet you. Or see
Yeah.
you again. Yep.
No worries.
All right. Have a
Keep
good
up
day.
that digital book. You got another book?
I do have a book now. So would you like a copy of it? Okay.
What did you write about this time?
Well, the last time I was here, I did a podcast. And now the book is off of the podcast. I had 18 people from the podcast contribute. I wrote all the devotionals, and then I wrote 4 of my own stories talking about mental health, grief and loss, survival.
Is your contact information?
I will give that to you as well.
Your interview is here.
I see him.
Oh, I gotta pet the dog. I miss my dogs at home. There you go.
Thank you. We'll get up with you.
All right, absolutely. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.
I'll move my stuff out of the way.
How are you? Sorry, I didn't from one interview to another.
I understand.
Ready to go?
Bobby,
Okay.
you're
All right.
good.
Cool. Is this
Yes.
gonna be video at all?
Yes,
Okay, cool. All right. Okay.
it is. You're on there now.
Okay, cool. Yep.
Wonderful. So if you got a card or something, thank you very much. Wow. Okay. So if you can put that on, you'll be able to hear me better.
Sure.
Thank you, Doctor. So it's Dr. Damon
Freeman, yeah.
Friedman.
Yeah.
And the name of the organization is
SOF missions. Yeah, it's an acronym for Shield of Faith missions. Yeah.
All right, we'll get going. I hate to keep, but that's why you're here, I guess, is to get the word out.
That's right.
So have fun again, 2025 NRB second day, and God keeps bringing awesome, interesting folks. And so we're here with Dr. Damon Freeman
That's right.
and Shield of Faith Ministries, but obviously you've got a dog.
Yeah, she's my service dog, Zelda. She takes care of me wherever I go. She's my combat buddy. So excited to be here and to share what we're doing in SOF missions and what God's doing and helping empower warriors to find purpose and to be resilient. So I'm happy to be here.
So Shield of Faith.
Yeah, Shield of Faith missions.
And so, what's Shield of Faith?
Yeah, so if I can, I'll it kind of just feeds into the organization. I served 20 years in the military, 20 years in special operations. I started off in the Marine Corps as a Force Recon Marine, crossed over into special warfare, and I spent 15 years as a special tactics officer. I was a commander at different levels, squadron commander. I was a mission commander for Afghanistan, and I retired out as the director of future operations for the police special operations. So, SOF Missions was born because of the challenges that I dealt with specifically. I sustained some injuries, particularly mild traumatic brain injury, which is synonymous with concussion, and I just woke up in the hospital 3 different times. Last stint was in 2019, 3 months inpatient, 9 months outpatient, trying to figure out, what normal life could look like. We spent 20 years at war. The real world is kind of a weird place to live. And so I struggled a lot. I went through some dark places, dark times, and many people don't know that over 20 veterans take their lives every single day. So by the time that we get done with this hour, a veteran will take his life or her life. And I was a real statistic. God saved me, captured me, extracted me out of that kill zone, and shed some light on His plan for me. And I went on a journey to heal holistically, psychologically, physically, socially, cognitively, spiritually. And then one day when I just felt so much better, I woke up and I realized I'm like, you know what? God does have a plan, and it is awesome. What does it look like? And I got redeployed, and I'm in Afghanistan. In Bagram, Afghanistan, I called my wife, and I was like, what would it look like if we started a nonprofit that provided free medical care, ways to help out our veterans? There's a lot of veterans out there in need. I'm one that received the care. What would it look like if we can serve all 20 million veterans in America? And that's the birth of SOF Missions, Shield of Faith Missions.
Wow, I wonder if we have a friend. Have you ever heard of Sam Hicks?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
That's okay. Anyway, he served many years in special forces, all sorts of things. It's pretty hard to know what because you don't get that information.
Yeah, what unit he's a part of, when he deployed, what he did,
But I know that he still is serving in so many different ways.
Yeah.
He's in the Ukraine right now.
Yeah.
And suffers from many of the things I think you probably are experiencing. That you're right. That once you've been in that kill zone, and those words that you're using, I'm very familiar with hearing them. You have to be extracted and those kind of things, and life just doesn't look like it does. And so, when you're talking about help for other veterans, it's not just physical help. It sounds like it's emotional help, spiritual help.
Yeah, it's the whole gamut, right? So we don't just deal with PTSD. We deal with mild traumatic brain injury, symptoms of concussion, moral injury, which is the spiritual component. A good friend of mine, Richard Blitzstein, said that it's a blood trauma to the soul, and we also deal with chronic pain, chronic stress. We deal with the fuel, which is the alcohol and the drugs that they deal with, and being able to start eating healthy again, and then exercise, output. You put all these things together, and it's a formula of why warriors take their lives. You're just not resilient. You have to be psychologically, physically, cognitively, socially, spiritually. So our program has a myriad of healthcare practitioners at NFL level. Like, just imagine, in one day when you come to our clinic at SOF Missions in Florida, we serve all 50 states, predominantly in Florida because 1.5 million veterans live in Florida. It's one of the largest, better populated states. And so, we take care of them for 5 days, 20 to 30 healthcare practitioners, and just in one day, a warrior will see the head physician, who's one of the top rated health experts in America. You'll see the strength conditioning coaches, the nutritionists, the psychologists, the social workers, if it's applicable for them in their lives, physical therapy, chiropractor, massage therapy. The whole thing, and it ends with spirituality, with Jesus. So it's incredible. Unless you're an NFL athlete or you have incredible amount of wealth, you're never going to get this care. And so it's amazing. We do it all in the short. That's our hospital. So no excuses, friends. Come on and let us help you. You know what I mean?
And so that's why you've been doing interviews all day. Is to let veterans know wherever we can reach them, right? That this is available.
Yeah, think about it. You've got all these organizations here that love God and want to serve His community. The thing is that there are cities in here. You've got Georgia, Texas, California, North Carolina, Virginia, Minnesota, Arizona. You've got all these states where there's a large veteran population. And if you want to serve the kingdom of God, there's veterans in it. And it's crazy how faith-based organizations, how churches, how companies who are passionate about God and country, they're not involved in the reconciliation or redemptive process for veterans themselves. We've got 20 million veterans in America. And so my call to action is for all the people out there, be aware of this epidemic. The homelessness is out of control. They don't get the medical care that they rightfully deserve. We're exercising our freedom of worship and faith because of the American veteran. And yet, how many of these organizations that are faith-based actually support? How many of these organizations that are faith-based actually know about the veteran issue? And how many of them are part of serving them? And so that's what I'm here to do. I'm letting them all know what we do. Know the resources that are out there for our veterans. Because in any congregation, in any organization, there's a percentage there of warriors, and it's important. It's a unique tribe. And the reality is that most of them just don't know where to get help. And at SOMmissions.org.
SOMmissions.org, and that whole idea of shield, of faith.
Yep.
And by the way, you're a doctor.
Yep. Yeah, I went and I got my doctorate at Fuller Theological Seminary. I got my master's at the University of Florida in International Relations. I finished off with executive education at Harvard. All of it is just part of the path to kind of be the best well-rounded leader in this community, whether it's nonprofit space, whether it's government, whether it's faith-based. Veterans are everywhere, and I need to be able to understand and appreciate these different, realms, I guess you could say, and how I can communicate the message, the dire need of hope, not just faith, but physical care for my veterans across America.
Yeah, and this, again, because I hosted a show called Random Rescue for years, where they amass veterans like yourself to go rescue folks out of sex trafficking and actually extract people out of other kill zones, so to speak, and they work kind of independently. And talking with those folks over the years, they look at you with that look like you have no understanding of identity.
Yeah, and most don't. 99% of the population will never understand the horror of these things. Sex trafficking, I'm telling you right now, very prevalent, overseas in these, terrorist countries, these communist countries. It's disgusting, and it's just what they do to children. I've witnessed it overseas, and there were a lot of times when, I didn't have the clearance to just take out the bad guy who was doing it. It's a crime beyond comprehension, and it's happening all the time. Americans need to know what's going on, especially in America.
Dr. Freeman, if you didn't hear it, he's a warrior. In other words, you can sense it with every passion that he has. God has given him this mission now to come for the people that have come for our freedom and come for them that are out there that we're able to share something like this. Thank you for your service. Thank you for what your service is.
No, thank you very much for having me on the show. Greatly appreciated. And I'll just do one more call to those out there. SOFmissions.org, shieldoffaithmissions.org. If you're struggling, know three things. One, there's a God in heaven that loves you and knows you by name. Number two, he's got an incredible plan for your life. You're not just called by name, you have a mission. Only less than 1% of Americans raise their right hand and they take on this mission and become veterans. You are unique in itself. And thirdly, SOF Missions is here to help empower you, help you find purpose, and be resilient, because there's a war out there, and the war I'm talking about is no longer in Afghanistan or Iraq. It's a war for your soul. It's a war to keep you from doing what you're called to do. It's a war, and we can win together. Come, check out SOFmissions.org. Let us arm you, equip you, get you back in the fight wherever God is calling you. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful day, sir. Take care. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Look who's here. Am I interviewing you?
No, you're interviewing her. She just said.
What?
She just said.
I said, am I interviewing you?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Hi, Robbie.
How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Do you want interview questions? No.
I'm sorry, I got to save this one. I'm going to
Oh, sorry. Okay.
lose my place.
Do you want talking? He's gonna come give me a hug. Is what he's gonna do. That's what I was waiting for.
I was thinking your foot.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good to see you. Yeah. You did great work. I've already talked to several people.
Yeah, you know. And you're gonna love Grant. We didn't get him in here last year, and I.
Oh, Samuel.
Yeah, right.
Like that dude.
Yeah, but you know, that's you. You want interview questions?
I just want a card or something.
Okay. You have a card or anything?
Cards are always good for me. Oh, I love your key there.
Hey, David.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. It's everything, but it does not have your name on it.
Hold on a second. That could be arranged for a small fee.
This is what I was looking for. Gary Berry.
Right.
Berry.
Right, Berry.
Grant. I like it.
How many interviews today so far?
One every 10 minutes.
Oh,
It's
my
10
word.
o'clock, whatever that is.
The Lord give you strength.
Thank you.
Sure,
Thank
name.
you. Thank you.
Do I need to put these on?
Yes, that will be helpful. I got to start a new file. We will get you going. So where are you from, Brian?
From London, England, but I live in New Jersey.
So bring that, bring that there, it's up here. Oh, it's in there. Oh, I see it's on backwards.
It's on backwards.
And the microphone.
Oh, that's better.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Now I understand. Now I understand. I love England. How fun! How fun! We
That's
are.
it in New York City.
Really? So we're here with Brad Berry, and he's an author, and apparently part of Romans 9/11 project. And so, tell us about that. What is the Romans 9/11?
And so the church can no longer be set. It's come back corporately, but with us, it's personal. Love and unity are only one that Jesus created. Also, the resurrection was the mere created this beautiful, wonderful humanity. We read about it in the book of Acts. It changed the world. The power of God all over. So in a sense, the Lord is
Right, all of that. Because it really is, in so many different ways. Hopes that we're all praying for every day, but there's a lot more to it than that.
Jesus gave us one week. He allowed one another to this point. He failed. He allowed the enemy to sow creating separation between us. And so Father now wants to release his mercy. Wants to glorify, restoring his family. Our Father's a family man. Wanting now to restore his covenants and promises to the firstborn. And it's interesting, he used the firstborn to take Yeshua out to the nations, that God's children, the nations, could believe in him. So there's this seasonal conflict, and that was the to usher in the return of Christ.
Yeah, that's really nice. It works that way. That circle that you're talking about, that the gospel is started out right in it went obviously to Europe where it went cold, and it keeps heading east, right? And we hear about India going, and oh yeah, it's coming back. I have to tell you, I've been doing interviews here for and recently, and I've always interviewed lots of Jewish folks. They're always here. And the people with the Robin David Adam sash right across it, those people are very Orthodox people. You want to hear the way that their story has changed since that their main thing they want to share with the church of America is how grateful they are that they are blown away by the way that people have responded to them after the war. So for such a time as this, right, Romans 9:11, you're right in the midst of obviously they are seeing.
It's moving us into a supernatural time. You look at the take 17, the love and the love that we're supposed to have. It's something more than people need to hold in order to fulfill that great commission. Because I believe that these end times, even though they're all sin, have to reign with the great commission. It's not going to be remembered so much. The church is hungry for it, but in a sense, they're not looking in the right place. And people have to get David tried to move the other. God has a plan. From a common sense point of view, how can you send the fullness of His glory on the body of the same? Doesn't the glory build so we need to take a fresh look, send humble ourselves, and be able to embrace our Jewish brothers and sisters, those that are already believing in Yeshua, and those that I call or I say are yet to.
Of course, there will be. Sooner or later kind of thing, not if.
I'll say amen to that.
Yeah, amen. And so the Bible, obviously, it's a project. So you have a book, you've got to study.
We have 2 books. We have a study guide that's written in tandem with the video teaching, totally free. It can be accessed on Romans 911.org and on 911 Project. So you can have a taste of the videos and read some sections.
See, I just think something. See, this probably messed it up. It's Romans 9:11. It's not Romans 9:11.
Well, that's the beauty of the name, because it sounds an alarm, which is needed, but it then also focuses on the changes in the heart that talk about Israel and the church. And there's a beautiful olive tree that Jesus has established. And it's looking good, healthy, and oil to be pressed to drip down into the rose land. It's about the only time I can get poetic.
Oh, it's
writing
very
the
poetic.
Romans,
It's
Romans 9:1.
because you're right that it'll come down all those branches, which there's 12 of them. I said some of them, right?
Well, 12
tribes.
Well, we're talking about 12 tribes.
There's 7 bulls on the land.
There are 7 lampstands, and it's interesting. The lampstands are reflected in the house. Yeshua goes out to the church in Revelation. He uses the lampstands. So there's something significant in this picture. It's interesting, only 2 of the churches in Revelation actually didn't need to move into the end. But the rest of us will be, need I say more?
Yes. Yes. About 4 weeks ago, I was in Spain. I was down in the southern part near Magdala, and we went up to.
My father lived in Montpellier.
I
know it well. We know the church.
So one of the places that we went, outstanding to me, was we went to Granada, and they go to Alhambra there, which is a Muslim shrine, or whatever you want to call it, mosque. But there, I'm there at the Alhambra, is this fountain. And I never knew that the whole reason that the Muslims invaded Spain was a video. makes sense. In Africa, pretty much desert. There's all this water. Gee, it's an 8-mile swim. I think I'll be able to but then they build all these aqueducts, so which end the talk bad about it. There in the Alhambra is a fountain constructed the flow of the river uphill right above the city to bring this water down through all these aqueducts. And they come out, and here is this beautiful fountain with 12 lines. And it was given to right? And here's this water that flows through this fountain. All this time, and there it is, it's coming out of it. Obviously, as learned as you are, you know what I'm saying. Water is water. It's water is a picture of what God is going to use, which is Jesus, essentially the Word, to cleanse all of us. And here it comes out of the 12 tribes in the midst of this moderation of all these things that we are wrapped up in right now. People, Muslims, they get all mad. Or Jews, they get all mad. But oh, no. The love that you're talking about, it was all.
It's great. Mountain these conditions. Speaks of the unity of he's going to sort it all out.
Yeah, he will. He will. Well, I am so honored to have had a chance to talk.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
And this Romans 9:11. I love it. Find out more about it. Right? I mentioned this in Romans 9:11.
Romans 9:11.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
So much. Good to see you.
There you go.
All right.
You gotta fry.
Wonderful stuff.
You got 1 minute to get upstairs.
Okay.
Really awesome.
Look forward to anytime you want to be the game.
Oh, we will.
I gave you my
call it.
Yeah. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.